first time this technique has been done successfully with a vehicle of this size and scale.
Following separation, the Super Heavy booster successfully a rapid unscheduled disassembly, or RUD. That's SpaceX speak for an exciting end to the booster's journey. The likely cause was determined to be filter blockage where liquid oxygen is supplied to the engines. So we've upgraded hardware inside the oxygen tank to improve filtration capabilities in our boosters, including the one that's out on the pad today. Vehicle breakup occurred more than 3.5 minutes into the flight, about 90 kilometers over the Gulf of Mexico, so well away from people.
Now on Starship, the 6 second stage Raptor engines all started successfully at separation, and everything was going normally in the ship's climb to space until about 7 minutes into the flight, when we began a planned vent of excess liquid oxygen propellant. To simulate the mass of a payload and get future-focused data, the ship was loaded with extra propellant that we needed to get rid of or vent before re-entry. Once we started venting, though, a leak developed that caused fires, which eventually cut the connection between the flight computers on the ship, and that caused the 6 Raptor engines to shut down before we had finished the full burn. That was detected as a mission rule violation by the autonomous flight safety system, which triggered the flight termination system and led to vehicle breakup.
Starship's second flight test nearly completed its full duration burn. It ended at an altitude of about 150 kilometers and a velocity of 24,000 kilometers
Alright guys,
per
what's
hour,
up everybody?
officially making it the first
Welcome back
Starship
to
reach
the
outer
live
space.
stream. I did
Like
wake
the
up a little
booster,
bit
we made
late,
upgrades to Starship's upper stage based on
but
flight
we're
2
up.
learnings such
We're
as
ready to
improved
go.
leak reduction, fire
Party
protection,
hardy.
and changing the operations to increase reliability.
Now, back at the launch site, the new water-cooled flame deflector and other pad upgrades performed as expected, so the pad required minimal post-launch rework. And that's a big reason why we are ready to fly again today. The ground support systems are designed for rapid turnaround of the launch pad between flights, and the improvements we've made ahead of Flight 3 are getting us closer to that goal. And that brings us to today's test. The test profile and the burn timeline are very similar to test number 2, with one major difference. The ship will attempt to splash down in the Indian Ocean rather than the Pacific. This puts us on a steeper trajectory than past flights and lets us test capabilities that we'll need for the future, like lighting a Raptor in space while maximizing public safety. So let's take a closer look at the flight test profile. Now, about 26 minutes from now, Super Heavy will ignite its 33 Raptor engines and lift off from Starbase. About 3 minutes into the flight, Super Heavy's booster will separate from the ship in SpaceX's second ever attempt at a hot stage separation. That means it'll light its engines while still attached to a partially lit booster. The ship's engines will then remain lit for about 6 minutes during the ascent before entering a coast phase.
Next, the booster will perform a flip maneuver and execute a boost back burn, which, if you recall, is where Flight 2 Super Heavy experienced a rapid unscheduled disassembly. We're hoping hardware upgrades made for this flight will get the booster closer to executing a landing burn in the Gulf of Mexico. In the meantime, Starship will coast for about 30 minutes at altitudes between 150 and 235 kilometers, and the ship will attempt to fire a single Raptor engine for our first ever relight of a Raptor engine in space. And from there, the ship will head toward its destination, splashdown location in the Indian Ocean. Again,
Here we go.
if we get past a successful stage separation and a full ascent burn
Good
with
morning.
the upper stage, it will be at an added altitude and trajectory below orbital, meaning Starship won't have to fire its Raptor engines for a deorbit burn, and it will naturally come back into the atmosphere no matter what.
Now, meanwhile, the Super Heavy is going to attempt a landing burn before splashing down into the Gulf. And while we are going to practice a landing, we aren't planning to recover any of the hardware from Super Heavy or the ship on this flight. Now, with the exception of Falcon, this is no different from what happens with most rockets flying today that are expended or fall into the ocean after they complete their mission. Eventually, though, we will land and recover Starship boosters and ships, just as we do with Falcon 9 and Heavy boosters, where we've recovered 283 to date. Starship's rapid reusability is key as we begin missions to the moon and beyond.
Going back to the stream.
Even though recovery is not planned, the telemetry and
We are
data we
officially
receive
live on
all the way
YouTube.
to the end is what we're looking for.
We
Particularly
literally
with
just woke
regard
up
to
just
ship's
now.
temperatures during re-entry and how the heat shield will perform.
Yeah, we
Data that
forgot to
gather
say it
today,
online.
of course, will help us continue to build a rapidly reusable Starship for the future. Now, much like our first 2 flight tests today, also still just a test. Our goal is to gather data to continue iterating and ultimately improve Starship.
That's exactly right. The primary goal for Flight 1 was to clear the pad, and we did that and got a lot of great data that helped us improve the vehicle and the pad infrastructure that you see today. The primary goal of Flight 2 was to get all the way to stage separation, which we did, and even got a little extra.
For Flight 3, we've added some ambitious tests highlighted by an attempt to transfer several tons of propellant between the tanks inside Starship itself, as well as the first ever relight of a Raptor engine in space and the opening and closing of Starship's payload door. When Starship takes astronauts to the lunar surface as part of NASA's Artemis program, it will be refilled in space by a Starship tanker spacecraft before boosting itself into a lunar orbit, like you see here. Transferring a large amount of cryogenic liquid in space has never been done by anyone, ever. So, we'll be looking to get data on some of the fundamental physics in play here, like managing pressures, temperatures, propellant settling, all as we prepare for eventual ship-to-ship transfers. The ability to refill starships once in orbit will be critical for landing.
All right, so we kind of you guys kind of know the simple layout of Starship, how it works and everything. They're just basically explaining that. But yeah, guys, we're live. We're finally live on YouTube. It is a little bit late. I mean, not late. Well, we are kind of a little late, but we forgot to set my alarm. But it's perfect time. We've got 22 minutes. This is enough time anyway. And I needed sleep. Really needed sleep. Yeah. So I'm still pretty tired. Zippy.
To open and close Starship's payload door for the very first time, a capability that we'll need when Starship starts flying our next generation Starlink satellites. And there you can see an animation of what that will look like as the satellites are deployed one by one through a slot near the top of the spacecraft. So at this point in time, we are approaching T-minus 21 minutes until liftoff. Let's check in with Dan for a countdown update.
Hey, thanks, Kate. Hey, everybody. I'm Dan Hewitt. Good morning. Welcome to Starbase. I'm coming to you from the Raptor's Nest, where I'm here with some of our flight controllers, also our Pad Red team. We're just behind the Mega Bay. Those are super heavy boosters right behind me, getting ready for the next 4 flights after this one. So we're looking to launch a lot this year. The countdown has been pretty clean so far. We're not tracking any issues that are gating us on the hardware side and the vehicle side. From that on-time liftoff at 8:25 a.m. Central Time. That's our T0 right now. We primarily shifted later as we were just working to clear the range. The other big watch item today is going to be the winds. The winds have started to pick up. We're still looking to be below our limits, but there could be a hold at T-minus 40 seconds just to make sure that the winds are acceptable before we go. We are actively loading propellant on board the vehicle. You can see by the frost lines starting to build up. Looks like we're about 80% on the ship main tanks right now and a little over 60% on the booster. Now, Starship uses liquid methane as its fuel, liquid oxygen as its oxidizer. Both of those get cooled down to cryogenic temperatures, so several hundred degrees below zero. And if you followed along with our previous 2 flight tests, the prop load timeline today looks a little bit different. Those first flight tests, it took us about 90 minutes to load all of the prop on board. But since the second flight, we made some pretty significant upgrades to make that time shorter. We added some additional fuel and LOX pumps just to increase our capacity. We expanded the number of heat exchangers and installed a dedicated fill drain line for each stage. But they were sharing one before, now they each have their own. That's just that main pathway to get the propellant to the vehicle. We're aiming for about 51 minutes for today's operation to fully load prop. We did that successfully on our wet dress rehearsal that we did recently. Eventually, though, we're trying to get that time down to about 40 minutes. Just for some context, that's about 5 minutes longer than we take on Falcon 9, but we're doing it with 10 times the amount of propellant. Now, the propellant load on ship started at about T-minus 53 minutes, booster right around T-minus 42 minutes. We are about to pause loading on the main tanks of ship, switch over to the header tanks, and then switch back to close out the main tanks. We're expecting all of the prop to be on ship at about T-minus 3 minutes 30 seconds, and then booster prop load ends at T-minus 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Now, our final countdown and startup sequence is going to be the same as Flight 2. We already tested this on this booster when we did its static fire. Looking back for Flight 1, we lit those Raptor engines on the booster and lifted off about 6 seconds later. Flight 2, we reduced that time by almost 2 seconds. That just helps reduce the stress on the ground systems, improve the efficiency of the rocket. But right now, we're just about to pass 18 minutes away from launch. Winds, again, they're still looking a little bit marginal, so we'll keep an eye on those. We're not working any other technical issues, and the range is expected to be green. If we can't make our test today, we have backup launch opportunities in the coming days. Could be 24 to 48 hours, all just depends on how far we get into the count. So check back in with everybody in just a little bit. For now, though, I'm going to send it back to Kate and Shiva out at Hawthorne.
Thanks, Dan. The countdown is continuing to progress, so let's take a closer look at the world's most powerful launch vehicle ever developed. Starship is comprised of two elements, the ship, which has 6 Raptor engines, and the Super Heavy booster, which has 33 Raptor engines. Starship is capable of about twice the thrust of the Saturn V rocket, and with future engine upgrades, it will actually be 3 times more powerful.
Now, with those future improvements, that'll allow Starship to carry somewhere between 150 and 250 metric tons to orbit, depending on the configuration. For reference, Falcon 9's heaviest payload to date is just over 17 metric tons. So with Starship, we're talking about an order of magnitude greater in terms of payload capability to orbit. And that matters because the amount of mass we're able to launch per rocket is critical to creating a self-sustaining city on Mars.
In terms of size, the Super Heavy booster alone stands about 71 meters or 233 feet tall and is about the same height as a fully integrated Falcon 9. The ship stands about 50 meters or 160 feet tall. Stacked together, the booster and the ship are by far taller than the Statue of Liberty, which stands at 305 feet tall with its base. Stacked together, Starship is 396 feet, so quite a bit taller there.
Now, Starship's first stage has a diameter that's about 2.5 times that of Falcon 9, and when we've got those 33 much larger Raptor engines, this great view of the launch mount looking up at those engines, and we need them to power through the Earth's atmosphere and gravity to deliver those massive cargo and payloads up to space. Moving up the rocket, Starship is designed for vertical takeoff and landing on any hard surface, and that's as opposed to taking off and landing on a runway as aircraft do. And that's important because there are no runways on the Moon and Mars where we're going. The ship, which we're looking at now, features 6 Raptor engines. 3 of them are sea-level engines, 3 of them are vacuum engines. That means that those vacuum engines are optimized with a larger engine nozzle to operate in the vacuum of space and get us higher performance.
The ship is also outfitted with 4 flaps to help aerodynamically control the vehicle's attitude during atmospheric flight and enable a precision landing. The body of Starship is also wrapped in a heat shield made up of 18,000 hexagonal ceramic tiles. Those are designed to insulate the vehicle during atmospheric entry, where temperatures can be as high as 2,600 degrees Fahrenheit. One of our test objectives today is to verify how Starship systems and thermal protection system tiles perform during reentry.
I don't think so.
And in between the first and second stages is our hot stage, which is critical for our newest separation technique, which we saw in action during Flight Test 2.
Yeah, that was a pretty exciting first for our team. Hot staging had never been done before as part of a reusable space transportation system, let alone on a vehicle with the size and power of Starship. Now, at about liftoff plus 2.5 minutes, the booster shut down most of its 33 engines, leaving just 3 of them running. And then the ship simultaneously ignited all 6 of its engines. Some clamps separated, and the ship thrusted away. That was the first in-flight test of the heat shield, and we were able to gather a ton of valuable data about hot staging.
We maximize the vehicle's performance by leaving 3 first-stage engines on, so gravity can't rob us of precious velocity, or at least not as much. Hot staging also helps to ensure the ship's liquid propellants are at the bottom of the propellant tanks, which is where we need them to be in order to quickly light the ship's engines. It also reduces risk at stage separation because it creates a passive staging system so that physics will be doing the work instead of mechanical parts pushing the 2 stages away from each other. Ultimately, hot staging could increase Starship's payload to orbit capacity by 10%.
Alright, so all they're really talking about is just Starship, what it does Super Heavy do.
Now, the first stop will be the moon.
You guys already know
SpaceX
about
team has been
all
hard
that,
at work
what
proving out
it
all the
does and
systems
shit,
necessary
so
to make that possible. Critical systems for propulsion, life support, and even the
I
elevator.
probably
that we
actually
see
shouldn't
here,
swear
which
because
will
this is
take
gonna be on
crew and
YouTube.
cargo from the Starship hatches down to the lunar
But yeah,
surface.
so they're
Are
basically
currently
just
in development,
explaining
and the data that we
what
gather from
Starship
each
is
test
doing, what
flight
they're
helps inform their design.
What they're
Here
trying to
we've,
do and
got
everything.
a
We've heard it all
photo of
before.
some of the mock-up suits that are used to demonstrate
yeah,
the range
so
of mobility that
this is gonna be a good
astronauts
launch.
will be expected
I hope
to
it's
have,
gonna
and we
happen.
were using these
They're
to
saying
do
it's
human
they got
factors
favorable, like
demonstrations and figure out the layout of the elevator.
what is it,
So all awesome
favorable?
development work
Yeah.
for a future moon mission.
Super cool. Now, SpaceX
Fucking
will
see me
perform
stutter
one
over here,
uncrewed demonstration
struggling.
flight before NASA's Artemis
Good
3
morning.
mission, which will be the
But,
first human surface
yeah.
expedition since 1972. After those first expeditions, we'll be ready
Let's
to
hope
fly
the
more people
weather's gonna
along
be
with
nice.
everything it takes
Hopefully
to
there's
build
no
a moon
upper
base.
winds.
There's so much to look
So-
forward to. It's incredible that humans are
But
finally
yeah, sorry
going
for the
back to
late
moon.
start.
You couldn't have said it better, Kate. And yeah, the moon is
Forgot to
just
set my alarm
the
last
proving
night.
ground. It's just the start.
So
When the
shout out to
time
my dad
comes
for
to
waking
make
me
the leap
up.
to Mars, everything ramps up by orders of magnitude. The logistics of supporting an entire city on Mars.
But yeah, they're
is
basically just
daunting and will
explaining
require
Starship
millions
and
of
blah
pounds
blah
of cargo
blah. So we
flown
kind
from Earth and spread out over
of know
thousands of
everything about
launches.
Starship.
And today's flight test is one more step toward that ultimate goal. We're currently at T-minus 11 minutes, 47 seconds. Let's check in with Dan once again for a countdown update.
Nice. Oh, countdown update.
Hey, Kate. Still good news from down here at Starbase. We're not tracking any technical issues that are going to block us to a launch. Our T0 time still holding to 8:25 a.m. Central, so just about 11 and a half minutes from now. The real thing we're going to keep an eye on is the winds once we get there. We do have that potential hold at T-minus 40 seconds where we can hang out and either let winds die down, make sure we're in the right structural limits, everything like that. So don't be surprised if we do a hold at T-minus 40. We've done those on previous flights, but we are not tracking any technical issues. The range is going to be green for launch, so all that really great news. We're still loading propellant on the vehicle, on the ship. We're just about done loading the header tanks, the 2 smaller tanks in the top, and then we'll go back to the main tanks. Are about 85% full, and then booster, both fuel and LOX over 80%. So looking good there. The launch pad itself is getting ready for liftoff. We commanded the booster hold downs open already about 20 minutes ago or so. And then that just means that once that rocket has sufficient thrust to overcome its weight, your thrust to weight ratio goes over 1, it's going to lift off. We don't have a command to actually release the hold downs once it starts up. Just also a reminder, actual liftoff happens a few seconds after you see those engines ignite. So you'll see fire, and then a few seconds before Starship really starts to take to the skies. Our range team just going to keep on making sure land, sea, air are all clear as we really count down. But that's the latest. We're just coming up on 10 minutes before launch. Everything looking good for Starship's 3rd test flight. Toss it back to you guys in Hawthorne.
1 million views.
Great, thanks, Dan. Now, if you've been following SpaceX over the years, you've no doubt heard us talk about our goal of full and rapid reusability. Nearly all of the Falcon boosters flown last year and this year have been reused, or as we like to say, flight proven.
We've landed Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy boosters 283 times since first doing so in 2015. And with Starship, our mission is to take reusability even further by reflying both stages with little downtime between flights. And we plan to fly as often as possible. As we mentioned earlier, rapid and complete reusability is
The
critical
ship.
to enabling
We
routine
kind of already know
spaceflight.
what's happening.
The team at Starbase has been hard at work developing and manufacturing the hardware that will ultimately take humans back and forth to the moon and Mars.
Now, even though we are not recovering Starship today, test flights like these provide the critical data that we need through every phase of flight.
Oh,
And
they're
that
not
data
trying to
informs
recover
future
Starship.
missions and gets us to that future where Starships are being recovered and rapidly reflown.
Our teams are also working on the ground systems that
Not a
will
gas
support
car.
rapid reusability. When we start recovering Starship boosters, we'll want them to return to the launch site for a quicker turnaround, as you can see here depicted in this animation on your screen. This is when the tower reveals its dual purpose. After launch, the arms or the chopsticks on the tower will help guide the booster into position to ensure a soft landing. Now, if you're thinking that this sounds
I don't
hard
think
or
today.
even
If they
impossible
did
to
that
do,
today,
well,
though,
that's
that'd
the
be
inspiration
insane.
for naming them
Really, what the
chopsticks. Some of you might recall a little film called The Karate Kid, where Mr. Miyagi
They should
famously
try
taught
it.
the main
They
character,
should try it on
Daniel,
a.
that if he could reach, that
No,
if
they're
he could
just gonna
catch a
splash it
fly
down in
with
the ocean.
chopsticks, he could accomplish anything.
Now, today
I don't know
we
why,
do
though.
have
They should
4
just try
ships
it.
and 4 super heavy
Send
boosters
it.
built, with more coming off the production line. As our Star Factory continues to grow,
I
these
don't think
vehicles
so. I
are
think
slated for
just
future
send
flight
the
tests
ocean.
just like today's. And in fact, just this week, we static fired our next ship that's planning to fly and
They're
expect to
gonna try
test
and
the
catch
booster
you?
as soon as the launch mount
Oh,
is
that's
free
true.
from today's flight test.
I mean, they kind of need
Now,
to try
as a
that
reminder,
next.
Today is still just a test. While we really hope to get our splashdown location in the Indian Ocean,
Let's hope there's actually be a
but
launch
any
today.
data received will help us improve. It's the third of many future flight tests for Starship before it becomes fully operational.
And that's the goal of flight tests. They teach us about the limits of our design and improve our understanding of the vehicle, and ultimately help us make Starship more reliable and rapidly reusable. So whatever the outcome and however far we get, we can promise excitement. And things look like
They
are
promise
moving
excitement.
fast at Starbase, and that's exactly how we like it.
Yeah,
Rapid
exactly.
iteration is a key of SpaceX.
Yeah, we've done it with all of our major innovative advancements, including Falcon, Dragon, and Starlink. We believe that if you're not failing, you're not learning and improving the design.
Yeah, many of the innovations that we've developed have come from our failures, and they teach us how to avoid the perils of spaceflight. It's a tough business, but all of this testing, all of the iterative design allows us to make the design better and better to do some of the great accomplishments with reflight that we've had so far.
Exactly. One of the examples that we love to talk about is the Dragon capsule, like the one located behind Shiva and I here on the mezzanine. Originally,
Alright. I'm just gonna mute it for a little bit.
Originally, it was.
Well, I'll keep it. I'll keep it
Not
low.
designed to be reusable. We
They're
wanted to
basically
build the
just
initial
still
design,
talking about
and
Starship
when we
and
brought
what it
Dragon
does
2
and
online,
everything. So
we had to do a lot of corrosion analysis based on flights that had splashed down and
Haha.
analysis on hardware received
Look
there.
at that, dude.
And now our Dragons are
Today's the day.
reusable and
Let's
also
hope it
rapidly-
launches and
at a much rapid pace than
they know how to.
Yeah. So, I mean, great learnings from our
Make a
original
backup
Dragon to our
launch.
new crew and cargo vehicles have directly improved the operations, and they've helped us change our understanding of what's possible when it comes to rocket and spacecraft reusability.
It's gonna lift off
Now,
today.
we're just under T-minus 6 minutes.
I mean, the weather out there
so
looks
I think
so
it's another
good.
Time to check in with Dan for the rest of terminal count. How we looking, Dan?
All right, let's see how we're looking.
Thanks, Shiva. We're looking good. 5 minutes, 35 seconds, and we're counting down. We are just about at closing the prop load sequences on booster and ship. Just a reminder, ship we're going to close out at around 3 minutes and 30 seconds, booster at about 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Once all of that prop is loaded on board, we'll have about 10 million pounds of propellant on both stages of Starship. Now, after that happens, we'll go through a couple of different procedures with the ground. We'll do what's called pushbacks, clearing out the lines between our prop farm and the vehicles themselves before we get to launch. And then in the next few minutes, we'll get the final guidance system alignments, some final thrust vector control on the booster checks, and all that will be performed. And again, if we need to hold, we have a hold gate built in at T-minus 40 seconds where we can hang out It sounds like today we'll have about 15 minutes to hold at T-40 if we need to.
15 minutes to
If we hit
hold.
that right now, it looks like the most likely reason would be winds. We're not tracking any technical issues to our T0 at 8:25, just about 4.5 minutes from now. So, I mean, everything's really looking good. The booster's almost at full frosty, so we'll see that close out in just a couple of minutes. But we're getting really close to flight, guys.
Nice.
The excitement is definitely growing here in Hawthorne, SpaceX headquarters. There is a large crowd gathering. You might hear them cheering occasionally. Now, Dan mentioned a good point about the hold.
So yeah, this can be a 15-minute hold
for a few minutes. And this is a really cool thing about Starship, and we don't have this opportunity with Falcon or Falcon Heavy. Up until the T-40 point, aborts are just holds. So anything that would trigger an abort prior to T-40 seconds becomes a hold. So that's a really cool feature to allow the team to wait for final checkouts or assess prop levels, engines, avionics, vehicle pressurization. It's really helpful to ensure a liftoff.
Yeah, and that's something that is very different from Falcon. I'm sure people have watched our launches, and then we get right down past prop load and then have to scrub because of weather or scrub because of an issue on the vehicle. And we don't have the same constraints on our propellant and our system with Starship, which gives us more availability in the window. And sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes the winds dip just enough where you can launch the rocket safely. And otherwise, if you didn't have that ability to hold a few minutes, you might miss that window and then have to recycle to another day.
Yeah, exactly, which is kind of like today. Like we mentioned earlier, winds are the thing that we are watching, so good news there. So we are still continuing to progress. We're looking at liftoff in just under almost 2.5 minutes from now. Super exciting. Like we said before, there's nothing more exciting than watching a test flight for a developmental program, and that's where we're at today.
And like we talked about, we have some really ambitious goals for today's test. But really, the point of today's test is to try to get as much data as we can so we can inform the next iteration of the design of Starship, work those things into flight test number 4 and new objectives there that'll eventually get us to that glorious, rapid, reusable future that we so badly want.
Yeah, for flight 1, we wanted to clear the pad, and we did. For flight 2, we wanted to get through hot staging, separation, and we did. So today, we want to get even further than that and collect as much data as we possibly can. So with all that being said, we're going to check back in with Dan to take us through the final 2 minutes of terminal count.
Here we go.
All right. We are under 2 minutes away. We have closed out the prop load on the booster and on the ship. And we're starting to hear some good news that it looks like winds are not going to hold us up, so there's a good chance we blow right through that 40-second hold. So we're about 1 minute and 20 seconds away. Just walking you through one last time, we're going to see the engines ignite about 4 seconds before we hit our T0. They're going to ignite in 3 different banks. You'll get 13 of the inners, 15 of the outers, and then the last 5 ignite just 2 minutes before T0.
But they're probably going to hold.
And then after that, the quick disconnect will retract. The engines will start to throttle up, and then we'll see liftoff about 1.5 seconds after T0. So we're under 1 minute away. Don't be shocked if we hold at 40 seconds before, but it sounds like the winds are cooperating today. And we'll be able to move right past that, not tracking any other technical issues that could hold us.
Proceeding past our QD vent gate.
Here we go, guys.
Through the QD vent gate, past the 40-second hold.
Go for launch.
It's go for launch. It's go for
Flight Director
launch.
Ty Huntington telling the team we are go for launch. So 20 seconds to go.
20 seconds. They're doing it.
Let's listen in.
No hold. No hold. Here we go.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
War deluge is on. Engine fired. Engine fired. Engine fired. Go, baby. Go, baby. Go. 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 Look at that thing go. Look at that thing go. Yeah! Go, 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 go! Go! Look at those engines. No engines out. No engines out. Woo! Onboard view, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
30
Onboard
seconds
view. Here we go,
into
guys.
flight. We are feeling
has
the
started.
rumble. We are seeing 33 out of 33
yep.
Raptor engines ignited on the super heavy booster.
Woo!
Starship, avionics, power, and telemetry nominal. Acquisition of signal.
It's nominal, dude. This looks good. This
Continuing to
looks
get
really-
good
this is
call outs.
smooth.
Our trajectory
Oh,
looking nominal. Systems looking
Oh,
nominal.
baby.
Just amazing to see
All
all
the
33
engines
lit
are
up
on.
once
All the
again.
engines are on. All the engines are on. Look at that thing. Look at those
This
views.
one is
Oh
already
yeah,
passed through
let's
maximum-
go.
maximum
There we
dynamic
go,
pressure.
SpaceX. Come on, baby.
And passing supersonic, so we're now moving faster than the
Supersonic.
speed of sound. Getting those
got that
onboard
tile right
views
there
from
that
the
fell
ship
off.
cameras.
Oh my God, look at the engines. None of them are down.
Now the next major milestone is going to be a hot staging
on, baby.
maneuver.
Hot
Again, we're going
staging
to be
maneuver.
doing that in just about
Oh, that
90
means we might see
seconds.
it
To
on-
do that,
on
we're going to
board.
shut down all but the 3 center
Look at
Raptor
that.
engines
It's
on
in
super heavy.
space.
That'll be our MECO, our
space
most
right
engines
now.
cut off. And then the clamps holding the 2 stages together are going to release.
Oh, this looks
Starship's
really
second
good.
stage will ignite its engines. The
Oh, this looks
RVACs
really
first.
good.
The sea levels right after that. The sea level engines
Oh,
will
this
be
looks- this looks too
splayed or
good.
just kind of pointed out at about a 15-degree angle. So if you look close and we get good tracking, you might be able to see those center right after.
Oh, this is a beautiful.
And so those 6 engines will push Starship off of the booster.
Nice. Dude, all these engines are lit. They're gonna shut them down here soon.
All right, counting down now. We're going to be coming up right at around the 3-minute
About to
mark
shut
on that
down.
hot staging maneuver. Again, we'll see the
It's gonna be another
booster
hot staging
engines start
maneuver.
to shut down.
This
You'll
time
see
we're
all
probably
but
actually
3
gonna
lights
see it.
go out in the middle.
Look at
And then
that
we'll see
though. Oh
the
my
engines ignite
God,
on
looks
ship,
so
pushing it
good.
away.
We're about to see it.
And that will start carrying
see the
the
hot
ship
staging. Here we
into
go.
space. Booster will start to do its flip and then move into the boost back burn, setting it up for eventual splashdown.
Shut down, shut down,
in the
shut
Gulf
down,
of
shut
Mexico.
down.
Stage separation.
Stage separation. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah! Oh my gosh. Starships in space.
Hot staging confirmed.
Starships in Booster
Booster's
is
now making its way back.
Booster's
seeing
coming
6
back.
engines ignited
Booster's coming
on
back.
ship.
Woo!
We got a Starship on its way to space and a booster on the way back to the Gulf.
Oh man,
It's flying back.
I need a moment to pick my jaw up from the floor because these views are just
Oh my
stunning.
gosh, look at
these
that.
are live views from
Look at
Starship.
that.
First stage is currently performing.
Woo! The booster isn't blown up yet.
Good there. News informing us that the second
flying
stage of the
back.
ship,
It's
everything
flying
looking
back
good,
to
nominal
Texas
there.
right now.
First stage is currently performing the boost back burn, expecting that to last about 1 minute. That boost back burn, propels the
That
booster
boost
back
back
towards
burn.
the coast, taking it to a landing in the
Starship is
waters
still
of the
going
Gulf of
too.
Mexico.
Holy shit.
We're
Wow.
only using the super heavy boosters 13 center engines from here on out. As whenever they relight,
Wow,
you'll be
look at
able
the
to
booster,
see that
too.
in the left bottom corner. Those are the ones that can gimbal. In other words, they move
booster's
and
doing
change
it.
direction in order to
Uh-oh.
change the thrust to steer the first stage back to Earth.
I don't think that's bad. No, it's not bad. It's still going.
Wow, these are just incredible views coming to us.
Wow, they got on board
Everything
cameras.
is looking good for both the
This
first stage
camera
on the
for
left-hand side of your
Starship is
screen
not gonna
or the
last
super
long
heavy
with the
booster,
atmosphere.
as well as on the right-hand side of your screen, that is Starship, or we also refer to that as the ship. Now, the boost back burn was the first of 2 burns required to return it to Earth. The next one will be the landing burn, where all 13 center engines will initially
there a landing
ignite
burn?
and then
13
transition into a
engines.
3-engine burn
13
to
engines
help
for a landing
slow
burn.
it down.
Wow,
And just as a
guys.
reminder of the stage 1 test
What an
objectives,
improvement.
we're
What an
looking for
improvement
controlled
from the
ascent, which
second
we have
launch.
so far.
Holy
Stage
crap.
separation, which gorgeous. We cruised right through it, as well
Vehicles
as
on a nominal trajectory.
Really?
Good news there, telling us that the path that Starship is on is good. Now, Starship's second stage is still firing its engines, and as you heard, following planned flight path, the ship objectives, we're looking for hot staging. Again, cruised right through that. We're looking to demonstrate controlled ascent as well as orbital insertion. Now, the bottom right-hand corner of the screen shows the ship engine graphics, so be sure to keep an eye on those.
This just looks.
Yeah,
this looks
Kate,
too
like
good.
this is just a phenomenal
For
test
its
so
third
far.
launch?
Super Heavy
Are
is
you
performing
serious?
beautifully
They're both
today.
in
It's on
space.
its return leg of the journey. Ship continuing to burn
And
its 6
booster, the
engines, those
boosters,
larger
like, they go through
circles, the
the-
Raptor vacuum engines, the inner circles, the Raptor sea level engines. We're
This
about
looks really
30
good.
seconds
Oh, look,
away.
the fans, look, the fans.
Just under 30 seconds away.
Oh, wow.
start of the boost
Here we
back
go,
burn.
look at that. Look at that atmosphere
Excuse me,
right
the landing burn on the booster. You can see the grid fins rotating.
now. Rotating.
Those
Oh
on the
my
grid
god.
fins are guiding us
It's gonna
through
do
the
it.
atmosphere back
Look at
towards
the
our
grid. Oh
splashdown
my
site.
God.
Again, we're going for a hard
Shout out to
for a
Falcon 9 for all
splashdown,
this.
a soft splashdown.
Oh my god.
So for landing burn, we're going to expect to see the 13
Hi,
center
Finn.
engines
How are you today?
light, rapidly bring down
Oh,
the
shit.
booster's velocity, and then just the 3 in the
No
center
way.
for splashdown. Let's see if that'll work.
Oh, system control, system control. It's trying.
We're getting a
Correct
few
itself.
engines.
Nice. Beautiful.
And acquisition of signal. Let's see if we can get some other video of that. Now, this is a test objective today. It is still something that we're attempting to learn.
Hey, Starship's still going.
And to make it that far, to demonstrate the controlled
Starship's still
re-entry
going.
up to that point is pretty darn good.
Booster didn't look it
Ship
made it, but it
continuing
made it
to
pretty
look
far.
nominal with its ascent burn.
Yeah.
This burn lasting about 6 minutes total.
Stop chewing on shit.
And we're expecting that this burn will end just after T+8 minutes, about a minute from now.
Oh, so Starship's
So
still
far,
doing
though,
the
I mean,
burn.
congrats to the team. Making it this
Wow.
far is farther than we've gone
Absolutely.
on Flight 2. Just wonderful
Hey, booster
views
flew
and
back.
great engine
That's
performance
insane.
from the vehicles.
Where did Booster end up?
I don't know. It's somewhere in the ocean.
So far, we've hit controlled ascent. We're in the middle of that right now. We demonstrated the hot staging. Kate, as you said, cruised through that. We demonstrated controlled entry of the booster. Just
Yeah.
stopped a little short of the engine relay, but hey, that's something we can learn for the next one.
Yeah. Now that view that we just had moments
engine
ago was
relay.
a live shot of Star Command.
engine relay
There you see it
didn't
again.
happen.
This is our mission control center at Starbase, where
fine. They
vehicle
made it through the
operators are
atmosphere
standing
and
by. Now the
everything.
next milestone
Let's see what
coming up
Starship does.
is in less than a minute. At that point, ship will, or I'm sorry, actually it already has.
Starship engine cut off.
Engine cut
There
off.
we go.
Oh, shit. Starship's in space.
As you heard there by the call out and from the crowd
Starship is
behind
in
us.
space.
Starship nominal orbit insertion.
Let's go.
Starship's 6 Raptor engines have successfully shut down. We heard a
Engines
call out
shut
for
down.
nominal orbital insertion, which is incredible. Look at these views, Dan.
I'm
Wow.
just
This is
completely blown away right
speechless
now.
right now.
What a day. Congratulations to the entire SpaceX team. I mean, this flight pretty much just started, but we're farther than we've ever been before. We've got a Starship not just in space, but on its coast phase into
It's on its
space.
coast phase.
Just to recap
Like 30
where
minutes
we've
or
come,
something.
and it's only been 9.5 minutes. How has it only been 9.5 minutes? We lifted off right on time at
Space, it's only been
8:25
9
a.m. We didn't have to hold at our
9
gate at all.
minutes,
We had
man.
33 out of 33 Raptor engines open up and light and get us through a nominal ascent. Another successful hot stage. All 6 engines on the ship propelling us into orbit. We did see what looked like a nominal boost back burn. And then we did make it all the way to the landing burn this time. Didn't light all the engines that we expected, and we did lose the booster. We'll have to go through the data to figure out exactly what happened, obviously. So be on the lookout for information about that. But wow, a ship in space, we've got a bunch of, as we said, ambitious objectives ahead of us. Over the next couple of minutes and pretty much over the next hour, where we're going to really, we've got the ship in space, we're now going to take advantage of this and try and learn as much as possible about some of the other systems, including that first ever Raptor relight in space. So it's just going to be incredible. So all of that still to come. The mission just started, but wow, what a liftoff, what a hot stage, what an amazing sight to see Starship there in outer space.
I can't believe we're seeing it in space. This is awesome.
Wonderful.
Now, we are going to be coasting for the next about 30 minutes or so. We'll be back around the T+40 40-minute mark. And that'll be Starship continuing to coast, hit those ambitious test objectives, and then continue on to re-entry. We're not totally sure what video that we'll get, since that normally comes to us as we overfly ground stations, and we don't have a ton of those along our trajectory. But as we have video, we'll be sure to bring that to you.
Starlink may be able to bring us additional communication paths today that will allow us to talk to Starship through re-entry with no communications blackout period. It's a possibility, but either way, we will be live for all of today's milestones. And of course, when we do have views,
signal, Puerto Rico.
especially like the ones that we have now, which I just cannot get over. When we have views, we will be sure to bring those to you live. But no views or no views, we'll see you back here at T+40 minutes.
Pez door is opening.
And there we just heard call it that Pez door is opening, so that's great.
First test.
One of our test objectives today is to open and close that Pez door. That's where we will deploy Starlink satellites from in the future. So great news there that that test that test objective is already underway. So come back here, stick around till T+40 minutes for coverage of Starship's deorbit burn demonstration, followed by its re-entry and what is sure to be an exciting splashdown.
Well, Starship is officially on its coast phase. Wow, let me just say wow. What a launch. What a launch. That looked too good. I'm speechless right now, guys. That booster was right there about to land, man, and it just crashed straight into the ground. Well, water, but wow, this was a successful launch. Booster did its boost back, almost about to land. Like, oh my gosh.
See Johnny Tim Dog speed that I'm watching now? It's just taken off.
What the heck? Jeez. But guys, yes, Starship is in space. It's on its trajectory. Wow, what a launch. So they lost Booster, but man, Booster flew back and went through the atmosphere. They almost recovered Booster. They were that close, but they'll have to do a little bit of tweaking for the ship for it to relight, which that's fine. They got enough experience with Falcon 9. This is just something bigger. But wow, what a launch. It's all these guys right here. It's all SpaceX team. They're unbelievable. I mean, Starship is in space, guys. It's literally like floating over us right now. Oh, they got cameras on the inside. Wow, I don't even know what to say right now. I'm shocked. I'm shocked right now. Now here comes another test of the Pez dispensers for Starlink, and then yeah, see if it could go through the atmosphere and see if they got the heat shields right. And I don't think Starship is gonna it's probably gonna burn up in the atmosphere. But at the same time, I don't know if the booster almost made it back. I think Starship would be that close too. So that's just insane. What a launch by SpaceX today. Oh my gosh, just what a beautiful launch. I don't know what to say, man. I don't know what to say. That was a beautiful launch. I could not believe my eyes what it was seeing. Like, what the heck? Booster just perfect. No engines out. Nothing. Hot staging. Perfect. Nothing happened. Booster flew back. Went through the atmosphere. They almost landed booster, but they didn't fire the engines on time. So it just went straight to the water. But Starship, on the other hand, is in the coast phase. And is literally just chilling in space right now. And they got cameras in the inside. I don't know what all that smoke is in there. I hope nothing's like on fire in there. But I mean, from what it looks like, it looks fine. Starship is just cruising. It's going 26,000 kilometers an hour, you know, just cruising. It's unbelievable, man, what we're seeing right now. This is the farthest they've ever gotten, and it's only their third launch, and Starship is about to go back through the atmosphere. Like, sheesh. We got 2 viewers. Thank you guys for joining. You guys are absolutely awesome. We are currently in a coast phase after Starship successfully separated from Booster and is in space right now. Booster did not make it, but the Booster did have a boost back burn, did have a boost burn for the atmosphere for re-entry, and then you can see it just flying in, trying to correct itself, but they didn't fire the engines on time. So just because it's a heavier booster than Falcon 9, so it's just, you'll have to be a little bit different with it. But man, I don't care about that. This was definitely an improvement from the second launch. Big improvement. Big improvement. Absolutely insane. What a launch. I'm still just in awe of what we just saw. And man, it's a beautiful ship. My gosh, that was a beautiful launch. I mean, you can't go wrong with this launch, man. You cannot go wrong with this launch. Just this had everything, you know? You had 2 ships. When you have 1 ship, but you basically have 2 that are flying. You know, you're controlling 2 freaking ships. I mean, just Starship itself, just a ship. It's a 12-story building. Just a ship. Imagine the booster. So that's just insane. What a successful launch today by SpaceX. I mean, look at that. There it is. It's rotating. And it's in space. Look at that. We're in space. Look at that. It's just going in circles now. Wow. Amazing, guys. We got 5 viewers. Holy crap. Welcome to the stream, everybody. If you guys are just joining, Starship just launched from Starbase. Booster did not make it. They miscalculated the engine firing on the return. But Starship is in space in the coast phase. SpaceX is going to be back here in about 20 minutes. But yeah, Starship is in space right now. Then they're gonna go through the atmosphere and then try and relight the Raptor engines for the landing burn if it makes it through the atmosphere. I don't even know what to say. I don't know if they're gonna show any footage, just because of where they're at. It's not. They don't have any cameras there right now. But just right now, oh my gosh, man, they've gone so far today than they have in the first flight, second flight. It only took 3 flights to go to space. And that's not bad. Look at that.
I wonder why his feed is so off.
Did you try to refresh the page?
Oh, that's probably it. It's like 9.5 minutes off.
Jeez.
You know, they're 9 minutes into the flight.
I'm 21 minutes into the flight. That's crazy. Maybe you just gotta refresh the page. What a launch, guys. Well, we're in the coast phase right now, so yeah, we'll just let chill here for a little bit, and then yeah, I'll get back to you guys as soon as we're back. Actually, I'm gonna see if anyone's commented in the stream chat. We had 5 viewers at one point. You guys are absolutely insane. You guys are awesome. Well, we're in the coast phase, so this is good. Wow. Just wow, guys. Absolutely wow. I'm shocked about what we saw today. Oh, I'll be right back.
Starship's flight computer is in propellant transfer demo.
That's the space flight that had fucking absolutely unreal. No, not a single engine, man. Nice.
Coming back, if it veers off its like flight plan any like
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one mine just went into ocean or blew up in midair.
It's like a safety thing.
Yeah. Wow. Crazy, guys.
They didn't even use it.
Not one engine. They didn't lose anything. That's crazy. Just the booster they lost, but you know, they still got Starship in space. So the mission still is going, guys. The mission's not over. It's not over right now. Because Starship is still in space. We're almost there, though. Crazy, man. What a launch.
The Starship flight computer is in the propellant transfer complete state.
No, Starship is still in space. It's still going, guys. You can see views inside the Starship right here. Wow. Well, it hasn't been destroyed yet, so that's a good thing, guys. It's still in space. We just gotta see if it could go through the atmosphere now. Wow, I can't believe SpaceX did it today. What a good job by the team. Greatest rocket company ever to exist. It's crazy, man. I never thought, I never would have thought that we would come down live streaming it and sitting here for almost 40 plus minutes waiting for Starship. Well, this is the first of many, many other launches that they're gonna do. And with today, I think SpaceX has cracked the code, and I think Starship is about to be the new vehicle we're about to see for SpaceX, and they're gonna use it a lot, way more than Falcon 9, because this thing could carry way more satellites, way more cargo, payload, everything. So this is the next generation rocket, everyone. You're watching history today.
Checkout's complete. Door is closing.
So sounds like they did another Pez dispenser door opening and closing. So they're just doing all kinds of testing right now, getting as much data as they can. Data, same thing. And look at that. Clearly see inside the ship. And it's in space. It's crazy, man. Got 2 viewers. Welcome to the stream, everybody. We're in a coast phase right now with Starship. Starship is officially in space. 3 million viewers on X. Dang. Starship has made it through space and made it through the coast phase. So it's like almost there. We're at 10 minutes until SpaceX will get back on and see what they're doing next. But dude, I'm excited. Now it's the big part of this test. This is the biggest part of your test. Oh wait. Oh don't that's the door right there. Okay, so yeah, so they have cameras on the Pez dispenser door. And they're just going in they're going like in a circle like this. I feel like it looks like that's what yeah. It's going like this. It's like rotating. It looks like, yeah. I think they're just getting like a feeling of how to like control the ship maybe. Look at all that ice coming off. That's so cool. Look at all that ice, man. That's how you know this is real, man. This is not fake. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. All that ice just peeling right off. Like it's snake skin or something. Nice. Well, Starship made it. Booster did not make it, sadly. But wow, what a launch. I wish I was there, man. I wish I was in Boca Chica right now. Just what a launch. What a launch. Absolutely beautiful. I don't have any words. I mean, look at this. This is Starship. This is the 12-story building that's just floating in space right now. So yeah, they're just doing all kinds of testing right now because they're like, whoa, wait a minute, hold on, 1 second, we're in space. Let's do as much testing as we can. And they're getting a lot. They're getting a lot that the next launch, it's gonna be successful. Booster's gonna fly back, Starship is gonna make it, and then from there it's just gonna be one launch after another launch. I like the music SpaceX put in here. It's like, oh, let me get a cup of Joe. And sit down with my crumpets and start drinking. Oh wow! Can't believe they did it though. They did it, guys. Besides Booster, but yeah. Who cares about Booster? Well, I mean, we do care about Booster, but hey, that booster looked good. It looked too good. Looked really good. I just wish they did the launch more earlier in the day. Not so early. But I'm not complaining, man. Ooh. Oh, that's gonna be on YouTube. Whoa! Oh. Look at that. Just beautiful. Makes me cry. Wow. Whee! We're in space. We're floating in space. Wow, look at this. Beautiful. I can't believe they did it. You know, I can't believe that they did it. Like this is Starship we're watching right now. That's in space, man. It's just unbelievable. Hi, Stormy. Curious cat. Wow, look at that. It's just going like circles and stuff. We're in space, baby. Let's go. Yeah. Making my way downtown. Yeah, SpaceX has 3.2 million viewers right now. Wow. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of viewers, I do say. That sun's coming up here. I wonder where they're over right now. Yeah, it's just going in circles. I don't know what, if they're just purposely doing that to go in circles.
Acquisition of signal, heartbeat stock.
Yeah, it's just going like this. It's like, you know, I don't know. Weird. Not like this or anything, but it's just going one full rotation over and over again. Wow. Just, what a launch, man. Like, I can't believe what we just watched. Unbelievable. This has made my day, ladies and gentlemen. What a great way to start your morning. It's from a Starship launch, and it's 7 o'clock in the morning, and we're still watching this launch. I think that's cool. Because last time, it was like once Starship was like gone, and
Welcome back to live coverage of our third Starship flight test, which lifted off from Starbase, Texas at 8:25 a.m. Central Time. Our main objective today was to get through all of our ascent burns and collect as much data as possible, including a potential Starship entry.
Not data.
And we just came out of a coast phase and were treated to a number of HD views thanks to Starlink, including the PEZ door open-close test. So that was one of our test objectives today that we met. So that's awesome. It has been such a great day.
It has been a phenomenal test day.
Oh, yeah,
just to see
Booster
lifting Starship to ascent, ship completing its ascent. Just a wonderful day. Kind of to recap the objectives a little bit. Booster completed its ascent, ignited its 33 Raptor engines. We demonstrated a successful hot staging for the second time. Booster completed the boost back burn, didn't quite accomplish the landing burn, and then had a hard splashdown in the Gulf. Meanwhile, ship completely successful after the hot staging. We had a good 6-engine burn of the Raptor vacuum engines and sea level engines. And then we've commanded a number of demonstrations, including the Starlink satellite deploy demo, so the payload door, as well as a prop transfer demonstration. We do still need to do some data review on those, so as we get that data back, we'll be sure to update you on social for how those tests went. We are coming up on our next major milestones, which is an in-space relight of our Raptor engine for the first time, followed by re-entry and then landing in the Indian Ocean.
Incredible.
I'm excited. Let's hope that happens.
Yeah, that's right, guys. We should be just about 40 seconds away, 40 or 50 seconds away, if we do this relight demo. Do want to stress this is not a deorbit burn. In fact, it's actually going to function a little bit opposite of a deorbit burn. We're going to be raising our perigee with this burn, or the lowest point of our orbit. This is just to demonstrate that we can relight a Raptor engine on ship while it's gone through a coast, while it's in outer space, while it's in microgravity, all of the different complexities that come with lighting this engine again after it's already done an ascent burn, but you're now coasting through space. This is going to be really important anytime we want to do in-space maneuvers in the future, like eventual deorbit burns, any of our translunar injections that'll have Raptor engines firing back up. We may not do it. There is, all of the guidance is loaded into Starship's computer itself, so if it doesn't see the values that it needs to, we could just skip the burn. So we are waiting to find out if that's going to happen or not. If it doesn't, as we said in the beginning, we're on a pretty steep trajectory that we are coming home no matter what, regardless of doing a burn. This was done just so we can really, we're in a trajectory that's really not super susceptible to delta V changes in velocity. If we were to do a burn, we've got a pretty concise footprint in the Indian Ocean that we're going to be targeting for splashdown today. It does sound like we are skipping past the on-orbit relight demo this time. Again, we'll confirm all of this through our post-flight data review, but it did sound like we did pass through that burn. So now that's going to start setting us up for re-entry.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Whoa.
So coming up next around
re-entry.
T+49 minutes is Starship re-entry. Now, this is typically a portion of flight where we don't have communications with spacecraft because they're re-entering the Earth's atmosphere at or around orbital velocity, about 8 kilometers per second or roughly 5 miles per second. Super fast. Now, at those speeds, the spacecraft's interaction with the atmosphere results in friction and creates a plasma field around the vehicle. That blanket of plasma distorts communication frequencies, so we're basically left with a brief communications blackout. Now, we might get some telemetry back through a connection to the Tracking and Data Relay Satellite System, also known as TDRS. But if the plasma doesn't entirely block it, that connection will be at a very slow data rate and definitely too slow for any video.
But that's why Starship and Starlink are a great partnership. Starship is so big that it will leave a wake or a hole in the plasma field as it flies through an atmosphere. You can think of a wake kind of like when you see a boat going through the ocean. It sort of leaves a trail behind it. There's some of those great views from Starlink giving us views of Starship's onboard videos. And so we're hoping that the Starlink on board will let us, just like we're seeing these videos now, see through that plasma field by maintaining a continuous communication lock with the satellites on orbit through the wake that Starship leaves behind. Now, this is only the second time that we're testing Starlink during re-entry. So even though we do have these great visuals now, don't be surprised if we manage to get some signal hiccups through. We're still learning about what that wake will actually look like in practice and whether we're able to get that live, continuous, high-speed data during re-entry.
That looks really good for being in space. Freaking, that's Starlink?
Yeah, that's right. And one of the really primary reasons we want to use Starlink is to just gather as much data as possible. It's been said the data is the payload on one of these flights.
That looks really
where
good.
we're putting this flight hardware in a real flight environment, trying to learn about it as much as possible. Re-entry is going to be a really critical phase of flight. We really want to know how the ship's going to perform, especially that heat shield as we're going through the hypersonic re-entry. So if something were to go wrong during this re-entry, we want as many paths as possible to collect that information, that data, just to, again, just continually feed back into the Starship program to make each flight more reliable, more successful.
Look at the view, dude. Like of Earth and everything. Look at that view.
Now, if Starship manages to make it all the way through re-entry, we'll collect valuable data on Starship flying through the Earth's atmosphere at hypersonic speeds, meaning more than 5, or at this point, will be more than 5 times the speed of sound.
fins are going up and down. They're testing it.
Now we're watching these live views, HD views by the looks of it, thanks to Starlink. You can see that the flaps there on the ship might be actuating.
They're testing the flaps right now.
Certainly some incredible
So the camera that's
visions
moving
of
right now
planet
is on the
Earth
flap.
behind Starship. Now, we've already validated Starship's ability to fly and
this is
land
so
at
beautiful.
subsonic speeds.
Look
You
at
might
that,
recall those suborbital flights from a few years ago, and we can see those.
They're testing
flaps
it.
there.
Come on, Starship. Go through this atmosphere.
So getting data
Come on,
on
baby.
aspects like heating and control while traveling way faster than
is
we
a
did
good
before
test
is
flight,
going to be
man. They're
critical to
getting
eventually
so
bringing
much
starships
data
back
right
from
now.
space
Oh my
for
God,
rapid
it's
reuse. So I mentioned those flaps. That's
They're
one of the
just partying
things
up with the data.
that enables Starship to help control itself and survive the heat of
So it's
reentry, which,
probably
like
gonna
we said before, we're expecting
be
that
night
reentry to
where they're
occur
gonna
around
land.
T plus 49 minutes. So we're getting pretty close here.
And what you're seeing
keep
here,
testing
it
the
looks like the
flaps.
vehicle is sort of moving back and forth. Part of what you're also seeing is one of the cameras, this onboard view that we have, is on the end of a flap. Starship
footage,
has front
man.
flaps
It's so
and rear flaps in the vehicle. So we've got 4 of those. And oh man, we can see the heating on those flaps as we're starting to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere. This is where the Earth's atmosphere is doing the work to
Oh
slow
my
us
gosh,
down.
look at this.
Now, like
Look
I
at
said,
this.
plasma
Look at
field
this.
Wow.
Look at this.
What a view.
Look at
We
this.
hope to maintain these views throughout.
Look at
Starship
this.
is so big that we're hoping that the plasma field doesn't entirely blanket the entire vehicle. Right now, it is not. The Starlinks are
Views brought to
still,
you by Starlink.
yeah, the Starlinks are still
This is from
communicating and
Starlink?
still capturing the data and the video that we
Oh
see
my
here.
gosh, are
I
you
mean,
serious
Shiva,
right
this is
now?
just absolutely incredible views.
Yeah, they're
We've
entering
never
the
seen
atmosphere.
anything like this before. This is the biggest flying object ever in space.
Absolutely, Kate. And it's important
Come on,
to note
baby.
with the ascent burn that we did was to get us to orbital velocities, even though we
doing
were
that
on a
thing now.
nearly
Here we
orbital
go. Look at
trajectory.
that.
So the heating and the loads that Starship is going
It's
through
going.
right
It's
now
doing it.
are what it would
It's
be
doing it.
getting if it were recovering from an orbital mission.
Come on, baby.
And
Come
just the
on,
fact that
baby.
we
Come
have
on, baby.
views
It's
through
doing
entry,
it.
This is incredible.
It's doing it.
Again, this is the
It's doing it.
furthest and
Come on.
fastest that Starship
Come on,
has
push it.
ever flown.
Push it. Push the limits. Come on, baby.
And
Come
you
on,
can
push
definitely
it.
tell by the
Push
crowd-
it.
The crowd here
Push
is
it. It's going through the atmosphere, guys. Holy crap. Look
The
at
heat
that.
shield tiles doing their work. We
The heat
talked about
shield
it
tiles are
earlier.
doing it, dude.
Up to 2,600
Oh my
degrees
gosh.
Fahrenheit.
This
those
is
heat shield tiles are
footage going through
dissipating
that
as we are
atmosphere.
re-entering.
Yeah, now this was one of the critical,
Oh my
or rather
gosh.
the key mission objectives that we were hoping to hit today. We have never, like I said before, this is the fastest and furthest that Starship has ever
Oh
flown.
my
So this is the first
gosh.
time that we're getting to collect this,
This looks
re-entry
so
data
fake.
and understand how these
But this is not fake,
18,000
guys. This
hexagonal
is-
heat shield tiles are working together to protect the belly of Starship as it re-enters the Earth's atmosphere. Once
What
again,
is
the atmosphere is doing us a big favor here
Starship is
by
at 80 kilometers altitude.
the atmosphere is
No,
actually
at
doing us a
all.
huge favor here by acting as a braking system
So
for
it's acting
Starship
like, it's acting like a
as it
braking
re-enters the
system. Now we're
atmosphere.
gonna lose feed
And
here.
that's part of the
Now they're
reason
doing
why
it.
the flaps are so important. We're using the body of Starship and the drag
They're
from the
soaking that
atmosphere
feed,
to
though.
slow us down from orbital speed. But you want the vehicle to
They're
remain
soaking the
stable. You
feed.
want those heat shield tiles pointed down
Oh, they lost
so
it.
they can absorb the heat of the Earth's atmosphere. And so that's
Oh,
the
it
purpose
keeps
that they
coming
are
back
serving.
on and on,
during the
dude. Come on,
hypersonic
baby.
phase
Come on,
and then again
Starship.
during the subsonic
You got
phase.
it.
Absolutely. So
got
like
it.
we said, these views are being provided by a couple Starlink terminals that are positioned on Starship itself. As that plasma builds, we're hoping that we can bring these views back to you.
Yeah, they probably lost
But you
signal.
can see the telemetry there on the right-hand side of your screen. If you watch closely, you can see the speed decelerating. Again, that's the friction of the atmosphere resulting in this plasma field, or excuse me, the blanket that is
still reading Starship's
potentially blocking
numbers,
the Starlink terminals right now. So we'll bring those views back to you if we get them. But right now, for those of you that have recently joined,
it's like
Starship is currently
coasting.
re-entering Earth's atmosphere. This is super exciting because it's the furthest and fastest that Starship has ever flown.
It's just absolutely
Something
incredible.
like
Major
this
test
is
milestone,
just
something we
this
wanted to
and-
accomplish on
I
Flight
don't know,
2,
something like that,
getting
I
to
don't
it
know.
today. So just awesome.
Now, we actually have some
numbers
heat
are
shields
moving
here.
now.
So these are what's doing all the work on Starship right now. There are 18,000 hexagonal
Numbers are moving on
heat shields
Starship.
like
I'm wondering
these.
they lost
So this one that I have is
the
flat.
signal.
Like this is what would be positioned on the flaps of Starship, whereas Shiva has something a little different.
Yeah, the one
no
I have
numbers
would be
moving
on the
there.
curved surfaces of Starship. I'll just put it in frame
where
here.
is it?
So we've got these attached at various points around the vehicle. Like you said, Kate, 18,000 of these tiles around, and they're doing the work to make sure that the structure of the vehicle doesn't carry all that thermal load, so we can recover the vehicles eventually and get to rapid reuse on them.
They're really lightweight. They sound a little different than I would have expected them to, but they are ceramic. And these are what's helping Starship survive through this period of entry. We're not sure how far we're going to make it. Again, this is the furthest that we've gotten in our test flight, but the further we fly, the more data that we can get, and that's ultimately the measure of success here, which, I mean, I think today has been a huge success given where we've gone and how much further we've gotten with both the booster and Starship itself.
And one of the beautiful things about Starlink on board the vehicle, we were getting that high-speed video. High-speed video is a very high data rate, and usually video comes after you get your telemetry. So hopefully we were able to get some wonderful data throughout the entry period, which is normally something we have to wait for until after splashdown when we get that data off the data recorders.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned before the flaps. Again, that the flaps are protected by the flat heat shields like I have. There are 4 of those positioned on Starship, 2 at the forward end or the top end, and 2 at the bottom or aft end. And they operate independently to aerodynamically control the vehicle's attitude or positioning during atmospheric flight and enable precise landing at the intended location. So today we are intending to splash down in the Indian Ocean, and we're hoping that we can make it that far, but regardless, it is an exciting end to what has been an exciting day.
Absolutely. And I mean, we've had some tests in the past. We had suborbital campaigns where we have tested out the aerodynamic flaps at subsonic speeds. So that's below the speed of sound. At hypersonic speeds, well, supersonic speeds
Wow,
first.
if you guys just are joining, you guys missed some beautiful footage of Starship going through the atmosphere.
The equations of motion changed, how the vehicle responds.
They're at the blackout
changes.
period
so
right now,
that
so
control
Starship is
phase where we're
currently
going from
in the atmosphere
faster
going
than
through
the speed of sound to below the speed of sound was one of the objectives today.
And that's actually a great point because we are expecting that entry subsonic period to occur around T+1 hour and 3.5 minutes. So we're not there yet. We're about 10 minutes away from that point. So again, that is when Starship would be traveling slower than the speed of sound thanks to the atmospheric braking system.
Let's see what we got.
And so right now we're still waiting to see if we're going to get data back from this ship. We might be in a bit of a blackout period right now. So still waiting to hear the status on it. But yeah, we got to the actual entry portion of today. We started into peak heating, which was just a really big milestone. Starship is pretty unique in the way that it re-enters, especially for something reusable. The closest parallel has been the space shuttle. When we're comparing Starship to like when we bring a Falcon 9 booster back, we're talking about 20 times the energy given the velocity that we're moving at, and all of that energy just gets converted into heat, and then we need to use those tiles to just help dissipate that heat. They're not ablative like you would see on something like Dragon, which uses an ablative in the capsule shape. So they are these tiles that are made to be reusable. So any data we're getting on the actual temperatures it was seeing during heating, all of that is just really hugely valuable. Where Starship is really unique is, and Kate and Shiva have talked about it a couple of times, is once we're through this kind of hypersonic section and we get down to the subsonic. And that's where we really learned a lot and proved that Starship's really just its basic shape could work. And we did that during the suborbital campaign. Again, if you compare it to the shuttle, which entered, it had the wings. It had a similar heat shield system, but it had wings, and then was almost flown like a glider once it re-entered and was down to those subsonic speeds. With Starship, we're not doing that. We're just coming straight down We'll hit terminal velocity, which with Starship is around 200 miles an hour. And then we use a flip maneuver to ignite those engines, do a landing burn, and then touch down on the ground. So you don't need a runway. We're doing that, again, designed because when we go to the moon, when we go to Mars, there's not going to be a runway there for us. And so that propulsive landing
This is what's going
is
through
going
right
to be
now.
really important. This is an animation of pretty much what we were just watching on actual Starship video, which is pretty incredible. But we go through peak heating. One of the benefits of today's trajectory, actually, we got closer to what the heating profile will be on just a normal mission when you compare it to our previous flights, which were headed out to Hawaii. So we go through peak heating, and then we hit subsonic, and then Starship splashes down in the ocean. Again, we're not doing a landing burn on this flight, and we're not expecting Starship to survive the impact. We're not going to be recovering any of the hardware. For now, though, we are just still waiting to see if we're going to get some signal back. We're currently at a loss of signal with Starship. Don't know for sure what its status is, and so we're just continuing to listen in. But it was pretty incredible seeing the flaps really do their thing to maneuver the vehicle as it's moving through hypersonic. One of the big trade-offs between something like Shuttle and Starship is wings can be pretty heavy. And so if we can really demonstrate that Starship's controllable through that hypersonic regime when you're coming through the atmosphere, 25 times the speed of sound, you can save a whole lot of weight by not having really big wings. So super valuable to get this data, super valuable to then figure out what we're going to do on our next test flights.
Yeah, and you'd brought up a really interesting point, too, that for on Shuttle, you are gliding in, going back to a runway. On Starship, because we're landing vertically, we are basically coming down, and then we've seen this during the suborbital campaign. We're not going to see it today, but during the suborbital campaign, we did the flip maneuver and then light our engines for a landing burn. And that's also really important for some of our other terrestrial destinations, that we don't have as much of an atmosphere on Mars. There is pretty much no atmosphere. There's some great views from our previous test campaigns of a landing burn and upright landing. But on the moon, there is no atmosphere. On Mars, the atmosphere is extremely thin, so you actually need some other sophisticated techniques that other landers have used to land there. And so this vertical landing technique is really important to landing on destinations like those, which is ultimately where we're trying to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So we hope to demonstrate that landing in future missions. That wasn't one of our objectives for today. We wanted the ship to focus on opening and closing, the first demonstration of opening and closing the PEZ door, which is where we will deploy Starlink satellites from in the future, as well as gathering data on how the heat shield tiles performed during the entry period. And so far, all of that has gone really well. Overall, it's been pretty great, and it's great to see how those initial tests that we performed a couple years ago for those high altitude tests allow us to see what those will look like in the future. But this piece that we're doing today of, if we are coming back from orbital velocity and we're going through that entry period, that is the missing piece, right? We already figured out how to land once the ship gets to a certain velocity or altitude, and it's really this piece that we were trying to figure out today. How do we get Starship to survive orbital velocity atmospheric entry? And we hope to find out soon.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about rapid iteration and how we do design. Part of our philosophy is testing early and often and trying to test in a way that is as flight-like as possible. But there's only so much you can do in a chamber where you're trying to simulate the atmosphere in a laboratory. So there's nothing quite like when the heat shield tile hits the atmosphere in flight to gather that wonderful data and prove out some of the analyses and probably teach us a bunch of things that we didn't quite get right.
For sure. And obviously, for those of you that have been watching along with us, those were incredible views to see of that entry period where we we saw the heat generating because of friction as the belly of Starship was, making contact with the Earth's atmosphere, and that resulted in some plasma. So as Dan said before, we believe that we're in a bit of a blackout period.
I hope we're in a
at the
blackout
moment. We are
period.
expecting the vehicle, if it's still alive, we would
we're in
be
a blackout
expecting the
period.
vehicle to be approaching subsonic or slower than the speed of sound speeds in 3.5 minutes from now. So if it's still up there in one piece, it still has a way to go. We're not there just yet. But we saw that plasma
on,
field building up
Starship.
around the
Hope those
exterior,
heat-
which
those heat shields
can
should have worked.
blanket the entire vehicle, as it does with all of our
Yeah.
Dragon missions. And we're at a loss for
Nerve-wracking.
telemetry at that point in time.
Yeah,
So,
Nerve-wracking.
Dan's seen a lot of those with Dragon missions that he's supported.
yeah, absolutely.
And we are hearing through some of the telemetry that it did look like we lost Starlink and our TDRS data flow at the exact same time. Now, if both of those signals are cutting out at the exact same time, that could mean we lost the ship. It has been several minutes since we've gotten any data from Starship. We are waiting just a couple more minutes just to see if we can get any additional confirmation, but that is one data point that we're tracking, and that could indicate that we had a loss or a breakup of the ship during that re-entry. So might not make it all the way to splashdown today, but we were able to get through the early phases of re-entry, hit some of that peak heating,
They did a lot of
which
testing.
was just really incredible to see a Starship coming back from space after getting all those views from space for the very first time. So we'll just keep on listening in on the loops here, see if we hear anything over the next couple of minutes, and that might bring a close to a pretty successful day so far. So again, we did lose the TDRS. That's the tracking and data relay satellite. That's the satellite system that pretty much every spacecraft operating in orbit right now will use to get data. We were able to get some signal through that, and then we were also getting data back through Starlink.
Live view here of mission control down at Starbase. So these are all the folks who are experts on the various different systems, taking a look at the live data that we did have. Probably in mission mode still,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
it would be so tough to stay focused with what an exciting day we've had today.
Yeah, what a success
to
today.
quote Monty Python, I'm not dead yet. We don't know, as Dan said.
went through the
we did lose
atmosphere,
connection
but
with TDRS, which is the
probably
tracking
broke
and
up.
data relay satellite system, and Starlink at the same time. So it is a realistic possibility that we lost Starship, which honestly was always on the table. We didn't know how far it was going to get. The further we could fly and the more data we could collect was always the biggest win. And so regardless of,
they got enough. They
if
went
we
through the
did lose
atmosphere with
vehicle and we are
Starship.
not able to make it all the way to our intended splashdown, note that we weren't intending to recover this vehicle, either vehicle, the Super Heavy booster nor the Starship. We weren't intending to recover either of them. They were both going to basically hit at terminal velocity and break up upon contact with the surface of the ocean. So we're standing by to hear whether or not we are going to be able to get telemetry readings back, but we are possibly
had a feeling,
anticipating
man.
news that we lost Starship due to basically a double blackout from TDRS and Starship data at the same time.
But this is, it's worth mentioning, this is the first time that we have come back at these speeds in any of the test flights that we've done so far with Starship. So we are trying to prove out that the heat shield works as intended, that the controllability at those hypersonic speeds works as intended. So if we were able to get back any data on that, that means the next version, what happens on flight 4, 5, 6, is going to be better.
We must be able to get some because we saw incredibly gorgeous high definition views of that entry period whenever it was initially starting. So
what a run
we must have gotten some data.
Today has been otherwise a phenomenal day.
Incredible.
Liftoff on time, full ignition of all of the boosters, engines, successful hot staging, and then ship took it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. We were able to see the ship actually make it further as well as the booster. We were hoping that the booster would perform a soft water landing, but we lost it during just before it was able to ignite the landing burn. But the ship ship continued on. We saw all six Raptor engines on the ship ignite and then shut down for second engine cutoff, and we saw some amazing views as well. And it's just been certainly a day that I will be taking many screenshots and using them as my computer desktop background for, well, until the next Starship launch.
When we get even better views, I'm sure.
Exactly.
And we also hit a number of our other ambitious test objectives. We had a chance to at least initiate the commands for a propellant transfer demo within the vehicle. This is something that Starship's going to have to do in the future, and these sort of transfers haven't been done at this scale before, so that's a first as well. We also were able to demonstrate that the payload door
and we got to see that,
Yeah, and so those commands were sent. Again, data review to come and make sure that everything performed as expected, but that's going to be critical to deploying payloads in the future once Starship becomes operational. So a number of test objectives hit, much more accomplished than Flight 2, and making steady progress towards a fully, rapidly reusable, reliable Starship.
Absolutely.
And hey, Kate, and hey, Shiva, we were just hearing on the loops, we are making the call now that we have lost Ship 28. So as we were possibly expecting, we lost the data a couple of minutes ago. We haven't heard from the ship up until this point, and so the team has made the call that ship has been lost. So no splashdown today, but again, just it's incredible to see how much further we got this time around. We had a couple of those ambitious objectives that you guys were just walking through that we're able to take advantage of while Starship was in outer space flying over our planet for the very first time. So that was just really incredible. Obviously, there's a lot to go through. Everyone always wants to know right off the bat what happened. Takes us a little bit of time, but I can assure you as soon as we start finding things out, we're going to let everybody know. And I know everybody's going to be excited for the next one.
Oh, I'm so stoked now.
As I pointed out in the beginning, there's 4 super heavy boosters either fully stacked or getting stacked right behind me. We've got other ships ready to go as well. So it's going to be a really busy time down here at Starbase as we look to really fly Starship as much as possible, get this vehicle ready to go for all the important things it's got to go do.
And with that, we got to say a huge congratulations to our teammates and everyone who's supported the Starship program. There's been flames and reds along the way, but third time's the charm, and we made it to space. We also a big thanks to all of our future customers for your support. And we want to give a big thanks to the people of Cameron County, Texas, for their support, as well as the Coast Guard and the Federal Aviation Administration.
Be sure to follow the SpaceX account on X for more updates from today's test flight and future Starship tests. But before we go, we want to wish SpaceX a very happy birthday. The company was founded on this day in 2002 when it basically consisted of this small team, a carpet and a mariachi band. I don't know about you, but we're feeling 22. Also, it's Pi Day.
Yeah, but I mean, Pi Day is constant and never ending, so shouldn't every day be Pi Day from now on?
I mean, that's a really good point, and I think after a test like today's, we all deserve some pie.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Good ending, SpaceX. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, guys. Oh, what a launch. What a launch today. An hour and 38 minutes. Woo! That got me hyped up for the next launch for sure. Holy crap, dude. What a launch. What a launch, man. I mean, you can't get anything better than that. Like, that was just... wow. Amazing. Stunning. The footage that they had when Starship was going through the atmosphere, just unbelievable. I don't know what to say right now. What a launch. They lost Starship, but you know what? That's okay. They got so much data that they're just... fourth launch is going to be pretty good. It's going to be really success. So, wow. Just wow. It just amazes me of what we just watched. Like, woo! Those onboard cameras were... I was happy. Those onboard cameras are really good. SpaceX hit 4.1 million views. That's a lot. Wow, just unbelievable, man, of what we saw today. The footage was just absolutely unreal. I mean, us humans, the ones who haven't gone to space before, always wondered, what does it look like when you go through the atmosphere? Like, what does it show when you go through the atmosphere? And their Starlink footage showed what the atmosphere looks like when you hit it, and it was just clear as day. Once this is posted on YouTube, you guys could go back. I'll probably try and see where it's at and put it in the description for you guys. But just wow, we saw a Starship perform maneuvers in the atmosphere today, and other maneuvers that we've never seen before. It was in a coast phase for like 40 minutes to almost an hour. And they were that close. They were this close of getting Starship back home. Closest they're ever gonna get. But the fourth one, it's gonna be a success because all the data they got today. So unbelievable.
Anything?
No, it didn't make it.
It didn't make it.
No. But
It went in. I got it in.
oh, you did?
It took me like an hour last night just to get it through by the CV joint.
Oh, jeez.
But I went out there.
Hey, do you know the Civic and CRX same fucking way? That's the only thing they didn't change out was how to put the distributor in. Because even the Civic, I had to take off the tire, I had to take off the axle, and then go through under the car. But
Yeah,
you had to go a certain way.
Yeah, I jacked it up to get the CV out of the way. And
Yeah.
I thought I was going to have to take the exhaust off.
Oh no.
But there's just a certain way that it comes
Yeah.
out.
Jeez.
What now I have to do is just bolt it back on.
Oh, nice. There we go. Well, guys, this was a historic launch. I'm so glad I woke up live streaming. I woke up kind of late, but I woke up on time just to show the whole launch. And oh, baby, that was a good launch. SpaceX has done it again. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm shocked. I'm shocked and happy right now that SpaceX did it. A lot of data today for Starship and Super Heavy, so yeah, just amazing. Well, guys, I think this is gonna do it for us over here at my end. I don't really have any footage to show you guys right now, but once this is uploaded, you guys could rewatch this whole thing if you want to. Yeah, so I don't have an instant replay or anything. I need to figure out how to do that, so if I do have one of these launch days, I could just go back and instant replay the whole thing. But yeah, man, just what a crazy launch today. That was just so beautiful. So amazing. SpaceX has done it again. Has made another stream to where it was worth it. Always worth it with SpaceX. And this one was just close. Just so close. The only thing they couldn't do is recover it. But everything else went perfectly fine. Both vehicles went through the atmosphere. Both vehicles performed burns that they were supposed to do. It's just some miscalculations that SpaceX missed, but it's not bad though. The booster missed by igniting their engine. It was just off. Starship, something probably with the heat shield. Maybe, I don't know if it was with the heat shield. Maybe it just, well, maybe it was with the heat shield, maybe. Or the fins maybe overcorrected itself maybe, and probably spun it or something. I don't know. But who knows what happened to Starship, but they don't care. As long as they got the data of it going through the atmosphere, of everything else going fine, that's all they care about the next flight. So both vehicles got some good data today for sure. And next launch is going to be even better. So I don't want to end the stream, but I don't really have anything to show you guys right now. So, but just the views that SpaceX sent. Oh wow, it's unbelievable, man, unbelievable. So, all right, guys. Well, another launch down. Many more to come. So this is just the beginning of this the Starship phase. I'm stoked. I'm stoked for the next launch, and they already got boosters and ships ready for the next launch. So SpaceX is ready. Is the FAA ready? That's the question. But I'll probably go live later today for some gaming, probably on Twitch or YouTube. But make sure you guys follow my channels. Make sure you subscribe and follow. That'll be much appreciated. And like and share, comment, do whatever you want. I don't care what you guys do. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for the support. It means a lot. I'll make sure to do some more videos and live streams for you guys. Yeah, it's been an amazing morning. This is how I like to wake up. It's from a Starship launch. So, on to flight number 4. Let's see if they can recover the 2 vehicles this time. But if not, it's the data that matters. So, what a launch today, guys. We're going to end it here. Make sure to follow, subscribe, like, comment. Like I said, do whatever you want. Do whatever you like. And yeah, so that's going to do it for the stream, guys. I will see you guys later today. If not, today, it'll be some other time this week. But as of right now, see you guys in the next launch. So stoked. We're all stoked, pumped up. This is a long Minnesota goodbye. So we're going to end it here. Alright, see you guys later. Peace.